Welcome again, Dr. Praveen Saxena here, and we are going to correlate something about a thing called electromagnetic radiation, and is there any viral association? See, of all said and done, see when the human activities may lead to morally unacceptable harm that is scientifically plausible but uncertain, action shall need to be taken to avoid or diminish that harm. I'll be talking about something like precautionary principle here, and somewhere we believe there is a issue at hand, and we need to connect the dots. We have been asked when we try to work on this integrative medicine and trying to mix a match of with some alternate medicine also. People ask us that prove that is not safe. Um, and sometime this is on the other side prove that it is safe. So what is happening here is when we are talking about things which is a electromagnetic radiation and other contentious issue things, we are not able to prove that it's safe or it is not safe. Either of the if something is electromagnetic radiation is safe, or we don't have the data which shows that it is not safe also. See, we are talking about the safety aspects of this electromagnetic radiation, and what I was talking about is burden of proof and the precautionary principle. We need to understand there is a thing called precautionary principle. We cannot wait till everything happens, and this was depicted on this slide. We cannot we should get out until we prove we won't be boiled alive. If we are in the kind of situation in the pan with the flames and all that, you cannot wait yourself to get totally boiled down. This is precisely what the point I would like to make when we are dealing with something called this electromagnetic radiation. I don't want to get into that one. Swine flu, which is a thing which has come before this particular 2003. In 2003, was it a fake pandemic or not? Again, it's a contentious issue, and we believe, have reasons to tell that it is something had some vested interest in making that as pandemic. Coming to the process, what is the burning problem right now about COVID-19? Uh, uh, we need to ponder whether do we really have to kill the virus. See, what happens is your body has got intricate balance of symbiotic and non-symbiotic. This is a symbiosis which happens in our body. You have bacteria, trillions of bacteria, billions of viruses, and the fungal, and all these things. They constitute your human composition. So it is not a good idea to just eliminate the virus totally, because they are not creating any problem inside the body. They are probably when it goes unchecked and you are uh, internal milieu, which is called as a biological terrain, if it gets altered, then things are a problem. So we are talking about this viral symbiosis and the holobiontic nature of the human genome. See, when we talk about as a this one, what are the RNAs, what are the HERVs? I will go into I can always human endogenous retroviral diseases. These are all the viruses. You have approximately 9% of the genome comprised of human endogenous retroviral DNA, and we believe this is one of the things which has been already published way back in 2016, and we let us see how we are disturbing this HERV to become active again because of that electromagnetic radiation and all. So when we are talking about healthy system, immune system and all that, so we somehow believe going after the virus only the short and small and short term part of the picture, as the immune system is controlled by the environment that exists around our bodies. So everything counts. You have got an environment, you have got a nature, so many things. So take it as example of a plant, and it's not just if we nurture the plant only in the leaves and all, that's not going to be enough. We need to go into the roots also, and it is not just be enough with the roots also. The soil surrounding the roots also has to be nurtured to get a healthy immune system. So again, more than half of your body is not human. It does comprise of symbiotic bacteria, viruses and all that. And this is tricky part about this viruses are they stay in a dormant phase for a very long time. They can be in a dormant state. We had seen, as doctors, we had seen the outbreaks of herpes and all that. Herpes is there as such. When the zoster, when you have skin application thing as such which comes on, suddenly it erupts as a trigeminal neuralgia. It erupts as a skin eruptions and all that. So the virus which was always there, herpes virus which is always there, when there is a changes in the internal milieu, it starts changing the pattern as such. It becomes virulent in a sugary media, it becomes virulent when there is a depression in the immune system. So all these things are we need to attribute because of our internal milieu. Coming to the non-ionizing and ionizing radiation, we know about this particular stuff. We are aware of Wi-Fi. We are aware about this mobile phone, what's the frequency it is working, and we tend to assume it is non-ionizing radiation, and we are as whatever has been described in our 50-year-old books and all such, and we believe that this is a non-ionizing radiation, so it's not harmful. But now we understand. We'll try to look into the further slides how this can be causing a adverse health effects. So this was a WHO report which was way back done some years back, and they showed ELF field sources and residential exposures. Electrical magnetic fields exist whenever electrical current flows. So in power lines and the cables, residential wiring and electrical appliances also, you have got a electromagnetic field emanating around, and this is the electromagnetic field which is the people who are we as a doctors, when we started working on the integrated medicine, we felt the people living near the power grid lines, people having a kind of voltage issues, in the sense the people living with the smart meters inside their homes and all that, they are more amenable to, they are getting into easily problems as such. So yes, we have a data where it was a very Magda Hawas was the person who has done this data, and they had shown that COVID case and deaths are double in states where there is why 5G is started. Let's not go into that debate. What exactly this electromagnetic field will cause the activation of latent viruses is one of my focus. I believe that there are some activation of Epstein-Barr virus, herpes virus, endogenous retroviruses. These are all getting activated because of this Wi-Fi and because of this electromagnetic this one. This is proved in 1997 Toxicology Journal. And what are coming to the health points, endpoints related to the electro radio frequencies and all that. See, we need to understand. See, these childhood leukemia, brain tumors, genotoxic effects, and all that. Are they some of the resultants of this electromagnetic field? We need to some strongly believe there are some biological effects from electromagnetic field exposure which can result into all these problems. This has been proved in February 2008. All these are the peer-reviewed journals we are talking about. And there are 29 authors who report on electromagnetic field and radio frequency radiation on the health. And this is one of the Bioinitiative 2012 report, which states that independent we need to take all this with a pinch of salt. and there are more than 6,000 studies showing correlation of electromagnetic energy with biological effects. See, we are all dealing with this all chronic diseases. What is the cause of root cause of this autoimmune disease? We are getting most of the cases. We are getting the chronic diseases, and if I had to bring a difference in my patient's condition, the first thing I would like to tell them is try to switch off their Wi-Fi, try to use a wired lines. It's a very good thing as a fiber optic cable. Use the fiber optic cable and use that LAN cable and all that. Use the wired lines, not the wireless lines. So bioinitiative group report was also very alarming. More than 6,000 studies were done, and we still talk about what is the proof. Over 20 studies showed disrupted immune function from the exposure to low intensity non-ionizing radiation. This is what I was trying to tell. We believe that it is a no non-ionizing radiation. So this is absolutely it's like all there's no problems with that. It's not like that. There are there are 20 studies showing disrupted immune function, and this has already been published in 2020. Again, I was listening to Joseph Mercola, and it was way back in 2017, Colorado, and he was the person who was telling about what is electromagnetic radiation and all that, how it works out and all that. He was the person, from whom we understood there's a thing called peroxynitrate phenomena, and this is the peroxynitrate which is increasing with the electromagnetic radiation, and it is the hallmark and which is behind all the chronic diseases, be it autism, Alzheimer's, it can be mood bipolar diseases, depression, and this endogenous culprit which is called peroxynitrate is well documented as a cause of this one. Done studies done by Martin Pall has enough has got a proof about this voltage gated potentials and all. See, the problem with happening is the voltage gated potential is the calcium channels which are getting inundated with these electromagnetic fields, and this calcium channel blockers and this electromagnetic this particular voltage graded channels, that is affecting it, causing that increasing peroxynitrate and causing a big issues. Yes, we have reasons to believe dirty electricity as elevates the sugar, which is one of the papers. And when we talk about this dirty electricity, we need to understand what I mean to say about this dirty electricity. It is we used to have that incandescent bulbs before, and that has got a good electricity. It's not dirty. The things which is CFL, as well as this LEDs and all that, they have the dirty electricity. And if you can see that thing also, it is we need to get back to the previous thing as such. And yes, I mean dirty electricity. I'm talking about people staying besides this one, people keeping their all equipments in the home. It's all electrically charged. People doesn't know most of the people here in this part of the world, they doesn't understand what is earthing. There is a thing when we have electrical appliances in the home, it needs a proper earthing, and people have a lot of something like inverters, which is called for uninterrupted power supply, UPS, and they are keeping all these equipments into their home, trying to as a decorative piece. And here where there is a mismatch, and you control everything with the diet, you try to control everything, but once your dirty electricity is at work, your blood sugars are not going to be stabilized. So a few words about this, what cell phones and there are a lot of studies we can always share you. Cell phones in the pockets lowers the sperm count and increase the mitochondrial DNA. It causes mitochondrial DNA damage. This is a 2019 study which showed risks of high of health and well-being from RF radiation by cell phones and other wireless devices. And it is not a good thing. People in our place, they try to keep the cell phone on the front pocket, and I don't think I keep asking everyone to not to keep this as these gadgets as a ornaments. And really the cell phone has become a appendage to the human body. People doesn't want to be they always like to keep the cell phone below their pillow when they sleep also. This is something we have to educate the generation as. So coming back to lactobacillus and bifidobacterium are decreased. See, we had a talk some time back, and I was talking about how to maintain the dysbiotic flora. See, the dysbiotic flora is one of the things which means you don't have a balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. You need a balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. If the bad bacteria is higher and the good bacteria is down, there is a dysbiosis, and everything can attack that particular situation. Am I from yes, this was a news. It was a new thing for me. Even from the cell phone electromagnetic fields, it can disrupt the microbiome picture in your small intestines and large intestine. So now, after working for so many years in the autism, I realized that this is the most important thing, microbiome, where we are, unless we fix the microbiome, nothing can happen later. So when we deal with all these chronic diseases, the first thing we'd like to work it out is the small bowel and the large bowel. The bowel needs to be fixed first, then only things will move. So microbiome, this is one of the things. And this is a 2 hours of cell phone radiation in a rat. You can see the kind of this is basically a rat study wherein you are showing you have got a exposure of the rat brain, and after 2 hours of exposure you can see the small hole like substances which are something like this was a revelation for us, and we never understood because all the studies which were done with the cell phone safety and all, they showed that okay, 10 minutes 15 minutes of cell phone they used to the most of the good case studies also showed 10 minutes of cell phone usage throughout the day. We hear this part, people are crazy, they do 2 3 hours to 6 hours is the normal cell phone usage time, as well as the screen time here. And we are not sure what is the damage which is being done by that particular thing. And when I was talking about the blue screen time, people are not aware. Every cell phone has not that blue light cutting this one. So most of the people are ignorantly, without knowing, are getting exposed to the blue light spectrum, and the exposure to blue light at night emitted by this is a reason enough to totally suppress your melatonin production and release of that melatonin production. And if it's done for some kind of years and all that, you are in for a problem. So this exactly I am referring to this Nobel Prize Physiology of 2017 by these three gentlemen, and they were able to show a mismatch in internal clock and external environment can cause danger. This is precisely what is melatonin does. So yes, I believe that you need to try to get in sync with the nature, trying to understand what can be. We need to see the natural light. These are all the days of that. It is pity in India we are still having that artificial lights. People are not. We have abundant sunlight, and we are not. We are closing all our windows and all that, not letting sunlight inside. It's really a pity. So I was talking about this blue light, as this one, protect your eyes from blue light, and there you have got a technology. We have got a glasses which is a kind of red glasses, wherein we can again I learned this particular thing from Joseph Barcola, and he was wearing the glasses, and I googled what is the glasses and all. So the blue light cutting glasses, and so this red light at night is one of the things which with which we can improvise our circadian rhythm, which is again results in a good melatonin production. I'll tell you again, the higher the melatonin levels in your body, the higher your body release melatonin, you are not into any kind of chronic diseases. Uh, so this is how we believe that there are energetics are poor and all that. We need to optimize your human batteries. Lot of things as such. How do you balance these energies? Balance for a thing you have. Uh, we need to look at the nature and understand that particular stuff, and you have to start from the basic. So till now I was talking about how this electromagnetic radiation is and all that are causing something, and now we will try to discuss about something about in the later part of the video we'll discuss something